come link with your boy, come link. Come and blow some trees with your boy, let's link. We can watch a flick if you're bored, come link. We can joyride and explore, link. Baby, come link with your boy, come link. Come and blow some trees with your boy, let's link. We can watch a flick if you're bored, come link. We can joyride and explore.
You're now tuned into Linked Up with LuX.
Yo. What's going on? As you already know, it's your boy LuX. Today's episode is called Why My Standards Are So High. Now, we've all heard that before, obviously, I would assume. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me personally with that specific remark there. Why my standards are so high. I can't think on a singular off the top thought how many times I've heard that my standards are too high, right? Or my standards are unrealistic, or how can I have such requested standards when I'm the way that I am, or from my past or my experiences. And I'll tell you, when you have a very specific expectation for what you want, and when you meet people that don't necessarily align to your standards, they will make you seem as if you're just unreasonable, or that you should lower your standards because X, Y, and Z. But the whole point of having a standard is literally the whole point of having a standard. That's like, wanting your food made a particular way, and the restaurant comes back and they make it less than you expect. Are you expected to just accept it the way it is and just be like, I can't really expect what I want, even though, in that case, I'm paying for it. But, I'll just settle, because how dare I expect something to be exactly how I want it to be? Life, right? But, for me specifically, I've been through a lot of situations, and it kind of has molded me to stand by my standards. And I mean, essentially, nobody really wants to settle for less than they want. I mean, sure, when it comes to dating, like, you're not going to find your perfect person, your perfect match, where they're this and they're that and they're this and they're that. But when it comes to things that you have control over in terms of not wanting to tolerate, you absolutely have the right to fall back and to not allow people to make you seem as if you're being unrealistic, and if you're okay with not having someone until you find that particular person, whether it's somebody that cooks pizza on Sunday, every Sunday, or someone that might not be as loud, or someone that's not disrespectful to you, or that doesn't speak a certain way. I mean, that's your choice. But I feel like anyone who tries to tell you that your standards are too high, they're just mad because they don't align. And I always say, no one's forcing anyone to stick around. No one's forcing anyone to stay. So it's like, if you are not, fulfilling my standards, you can leave. Why are you trying to convince me so hard that I should just accept you the way you are? Well, nobody's perfect, and no relationship's going to be perfect. I understand that, but typically when it comes to my standards, these are things, they're non-negotiables. Like, I've already expressed them in the past, and you cross that boundary, It's not me just wasting time with someone we're dating since, 6 months goes by, and then I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to be unrealistic and say that I don't want to be with you anymore because you, let's say, you didn't tip the waitress or the waiter. And my standard is I only date people who tip. I only date people who tip. And I just realized that you don't align with my expectations. And like certain things like that can be communicated, you know? And say it was communicated. Like I stated in the past, most things are communicated prior. It's just people get too comfortable and they overstep your boundaries and they think it's okay. They think you're just supposed to take them back. But say that was something that was communicated and, they did it again after you communicated it to them. And then they did it again and again and again. It's like, are you just supposed to be like, wow, my standards are so high, I should just accept the fact that you're not willing to change? And hey, anyone dating me, you don't have to change for me at all. By like when it comes to like by choice, like you can choose to do whatever you want to do, but no one's forcing you. And that's where I think people kind of get a little confused. But also, it's just like, when it comes to dating, obviously you're going to have to compromise a little bit, right? I'm not saying you should just be so cold and stand by your expectations and standards because everybody's different. But for me, when it's something that makes me feel uncomfortable and either you've already did it, I don't want to stick around. I don't. I'm sorry. Because if I tell you something and you do it, and I might try to hear you out and try to see why you did it. But if your reasoning why you did it doesn't necessarily make sense, or you're just trying to make me seem so, I guess, picky in terms of my expectations, then it's like I can't. You're interfering with my peace. But most importantly, I feel like people say that I'm so quick to walk away. And honestly, I think that has a lot to do with experience, most importantly, and age. I mean, you're supposed to learn as you get older from your past experiences. And I'm not going to sit around and allow the same thing to transpire again when I'm seeing very visible patterns. And again, people say, well, not everybody's the same and everybody's different and you didn't even give me a chance and you're comparing me to the past situations. It's not fair. I don't enter new relationships with previous, like trust issues. Essentially, I give everybody a fair chance. And I'm big on communication. I'm big on, letting people know, hey, I went through this. And when I was with her, she did this and she did that. And she said that was her best friend. And next thing you know, I found out, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't have time to waste to continue to give and give and give because all of those situations that I've learned from, I mean, sure, I'm grateful that I made it out of them, but all of the time that I invested into them, I can't get that time back. You know what I'm saying? How vulnerable I was during those situations, confining in someone, emotionally and about my feelings and my life and, just to do all of that with someone and you never speak to them again, that's crazy. But not even just the fact that you never speak to them again. I mean, just you don't speak to them again based upon their actions. And people always make it seem like they understand, what you've been through. Oh, I would never treat you like that. Oh, I don't see why, women don't appreciate you. You're a great guy. I mean, I hear that all the time, but You get me? And now you're still doing things that I warned you about in terms of what I went through. But you're a different person. I should give you a chance. Or you mess up and I catch you up, and I should just be willing to give you another chance because oops, you're different. But it's crazy. It's really crazy. And it's just like, you know, I have the right to expect what I want for my person, and whoever I'm dating has the right to expect what they want for me, And again, I'm not trying to sit here and say it's my way or the highway because I understand, everybody has a different mindset. Everybody has different experiences. People come from different backgrounds. Some people genuinely don't know. Some people genuinely have to learn. And I just can't deal with someone who just isn't willing to just stop, slow down, analyze, and put themselves in my shoes. I feel like a lot of women that I've dealt with, they don't really think like that. They just think new person, new situation, new person, new situation, new person, new situation. It's like I don't move like that. I'm very specific from the jump for, like what I expect. And some people say, like, oh, well, it feels like a test. And then it always comes down to them saying, like, oh, well, you never told me that, this triggers you, or you never told me that I should be like this or I should be like that. But to be honest, I shouldn't have to tell you how to be. I don't want to tell you how to be. I mean, this isn't build your perfect girlfriend warehouse, and if it was, I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation because I would have exactly what I want. I know communication is big, but I don't want to have to tell somebody, hey, if we're dating, you shouldn't be entertaining five other guys. Or I shouldn't have to tell someone, hey, like, you're being a little too friendly and you're making people think they have a chance with you. I don't want a woman like that. So when people say like they feel like it's a test, it's not a test. I'm just analyzing you. I really want to see how you think. I want to know what you think is okay. And if you truly feel as if it's like no problem, I want you to communicate that with me and be like, hey, I don't see the issue. And we'll talk about it. And I'll tell you how I feel, and you'll tell me how you feel. And if we just can't meet in the middle or see things from both perspectives, like, then we can walk away. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. And people might say I'm so like short, They always try to say like, well, no relationship is perfect and you give up too easy. I just don't have time to waste. And that goes back to the age thing, You give this person 5 months, 6 months, a year. You're around this person for a year. You're comfortable with them, and then they switch up. Like, I'm tired of it. And then it's like, not only is it emotionally draining, it's dangerous, because you're putting yourself at risk, trusting someone. And it's already hard to trust as it is. And trust in general is a whole nother topic, of issues and stuff like that. Like, once I feel like I can't trust you, I can never get that feeling out of my mind. And even if it got to a point where you were like, okay, he can't trust me, so I'm going to do everything to make sure he has no reason to doubt, I'm still going to doubt. You can give me your passcode to your phone. You can give me your password to your Instagram. you can have your Instagram logged in on my phone, your Facebook, your X, whatever it is, like whatever account, Snapchat, like, you can give me all of that after the fact of something happening, and I still would be a little uneasy to a certain extent, but I wouldn't even feel comfortable because I'd never want to make someone feel like I'm controlling them because, okay, I get it. You're trying to gain my trust, but now I'm micromanaging your page every single day. I'm looking through your phone to see who you're talking to. I'm looking through your DMs to see if you're responding. Like, that's draining. I don't want to do that. That's why people don't understand. Trust is crucial. And it takes something as simple as turning off your location, not communicating, not telling me, hey, I'm going to be here or hey, I'm going to be there to get my mind going. And hey, maybe I'm the problem, but I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel as if I have to think about my partner potentially stepping out on me. And some would probably say, well, yeah, you're the problem and you shouldn't be with someone if you feel like you can't trust them and you shouldn't be dating, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. But it's like, again, I don't go into new situations with past trust issues until you show me signs and things that can trigger pattern. That's it. That's literally it. And that's just how it is, unfortunately, but why my standards are so high? Because I value my time. I don't like my time to be wasted. I don't like to feel like I can't trust my partner. I just don't have time to settle for less than I know I want. I've met so many women that, they were great, but they just didn't meet the standard in terms of how they were. They either weren't like the wifey type, or they're still entertaining exes, or they're still responding to DMs, or they're just easily approachable. Anyone can walk up to them and just have a whole conversation and take their attention. But wait. Some may say, well, you're insecure. You have trust issues. Maybe I do. But I have my reasonings. And I'm a guy. So it's not like I'm out here expecting reassurance like, babe, when you go outside, you better make sure your location's on. Babe, when you go outside, you better make sure I know where you are. Babe, when I call you, you better FaceTime me. Don't just answer the call. I want to make sure you're exactly where you said you were. I don't have time for that. I don't. I don't. I mean, when I was younger, it wasn't like never that extreme, but like when you're younger, you tend to be a little bit more like on edge. So and you're more accepting. So you're not like openly saying like, yeah, I don't trust her, but it's like, yeah, let me FaceTime her, or yeah, let me do this just to, it's just like someone calling someone, and if they think they're gonna go somewhere else and without them, and there might be other people around, like that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for example, I'm sure some women went through this. Say she's like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with the girls, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. So she gets there, he calls and just sits on the phone. Like, he's just trying to make sure there's no guys there. That's insecure. That's trust issues. And if he's like that without her even like doing anything to like get him to that point, then I mean that's crazy. But again, that's draining. I never want to be in a situation like that. I never want to be able to meet someone and genuinely have a connection and be like, I have to worry about what they're doing or where they are, or are they really where they say they are. And it's just, it is what it is. Reassurance is nice. I'm big on that, even if nothing is, like doubted early on in any relationship, just courtesy reassurance. I'm all for that, especially if they've been through a lot and I've been through a lot, but there's limitations. I don't ever want to be with someone who makes me feel as if they don't trust me to the point where they're overly like a hawk. Like, where are you? What are you doing? Text me, call me. I need to know where you're at. Give me your location. Like, if it's like that, I don't want it. I don't want it. But say I'm dealing with someone who probably had a rough past with an ex and maybe he never communicated things, like I would be the boyfriend that would just give subtle, unprovoked, unasked for, reassurance just because I know how it is, and certain things you can just read based off energy and stuff like that. But my standards are so high because I know what I want and I don't want to settle, and I'm sorry to anyone who feels as if my boot camp, if you will, is too extensive. And I mean, hey, I'm not looking to meet somebody to struggle with. And I know that's kind of bold. And that's not to say that when I'm in a relationship, we're not going to go through hardships and you're not going to have to grind together. That's not what I'm saying. People are so quick to attach themselves to someone else who is struggling just so they can struggle together. And I mean, hey, they might struggle together and open up a business and be successful, but why would I want to struggle with someone based upon lack of respect, essentially? A lot of people lack respect. And if you can't even respect me, if your mood is constantly changing, I don't want it. And that's all. Thanks for tuning in to Linked Up with LuX. And I'm out.